how Tank thinks. You know, Tank had a great argument, you know, about when he didn't show up, and you know, he wanted his name to be up in lights like the rest of them, the Floyd, all of them that fought in that building. That was a great building. He wanted everybody to see his name on the wall just like everybody else, you know. The thing that really got me the most about that man.
Calvin Ford, Tank's longtime mentor and trainer, just dropped a bombshell about why he walked away from his star protege. And guess what? This ain't the first time Tank has had beef with someone who's had his back. Let's unpack this fallout, revisit their rocky history, and take a closer look at how Gervonta's relationships with his mentors, Calvin and Floyd Mayweather, have unraveled over time. Plus, you won't believe Tank's reaction to the whole fiasco. Let's break it down.
Calvin used to fuss at the guys that was coming up with me, and they was in the streets a lot. He was telling them, like, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You gotta be, like, all the way in it.
First, let's rewind. Calvin Ford wasn't just another boxing coach to Gervonta Davis, he was practically family. Ford discovered Tank when he was just a scrappy kid from Baltimore trying to fight his way out of poverty. Calvin didn't just teach Gervonta how to throw punches, he gave him structure, discipline, and a sense of purpose.
My journey's crazy. That's why I said there, I said, yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone, and all the stuff that I went through, preparing me for where I'm at today. You know, that Tank is older. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do, take us the rest of the way. And this is his take us the rest of the way fight.
From amateur titles to professional dominance, Calvin Ford was always there, guiding Tank from a raw talent into one of the biggest stars in boxing. It wasn't just about wins for Calvin, it was about making sure Gervonta stayed on the right path.
You know, Calvin, he been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
When I had to train Tank, when I didn't want him to get in trouble and I wanted to make sure we was together, I used to take him to work with me. And he'd chill. Everybody knew him. Everybody knew him at work.
Remember, Calvin used to fuss at the guys that was coming up with me, and they was in the streets a lot. He was telling them, like, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You gotta be, like, all the way in it, like, focus on the goal, you know. And them guys, they went left, and unfortunately, they got killed.
You weigh the odds out like that. Do you want him to go to jail or you want him to live? That's the whole idea, to come to the boxing gym.
If I ain't had the people I had around me, like the people that started with me and things like that, I probably would have been off the scene for a long time.
And, oh boy, did that loyalty pay off. Under Ford's watch, Tank became a multiple division world champion with a flawless record. Calvin would often talk about how proud he was to see Gervonta not just as a fighter, but as a young man making moves in the sport. But now, that relationship is on the rocks. In a recent interview, Calvin Ford shocked the boxing world when he revealed the real reason he decided to step back from working with Gervonta. According to Ford, their fallout wasn't just about boxing, it was about trust. Ford mentioned how he felt his role in Tank's career was being diminished as Davis's inner circle grew larger. It got to a point where I wasn't being heard anymore. Ford said, you can't keep someone around if they're not being valued. Ford also hinted that outside influences might have been pulling Tank away. While he didn't name names, it's clear that tensions were building for quite some time.
Who do you want to see? You, as a guy that's in his trainer, that's like a father figure to him, you're training him all the time, you know him, both y'all from the streets of Baltimore the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight next?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
But what do we see now? Gervonta Davis is out here training with a new face, Derrick James. Yeah, you heard that right. The same Derrick James who trained Frank Martin, one of Tank's recent rivals, and went up against Tank. So, how did it all fall apart with Calvin Ford? And why Derrick James? Let's keep breaking this down. But one thing is for sure. Ford is having a nightmare, being replaced by James.
Waiting to sit down and talk to him one-on-one, saying what his mental at. Whatever he want to do, I just prepare him for it mentally, you know what I'm saying?
But there's one man behind it all. Yep, it's Floyd "Money" Mayweather. Now, any boxing fan knows Floyd Mayweather's influence on Tank's career. Floyd was not only promoting him, but also shaped his brand in those early days. Floyd's status and connections were supposed to be everything for Tank, but over time, we saw something start to shift. As Tank grew, the tension between him, Floyd, and Calvin started to surface. See, Floyd wanted to call the shots, but Tank and Calvin, they had a mind of their own. Calvin knew what Tank was capable of, and Floyd, being Floyd, wanted a hand in every decision. It didn't take long for rumors to fly about Floyd wanting full control over Tank's career, maybe even a bit of Calvin's influence too. Tank wanted independence. He wanted to run his career his way, but Calvin? He was still loyal to the Mayweather brand, which definitely added tension. Remember that one incident where Tank and Floyd had that public beef? It wasn't just Tank versus Floyd. Calvin was thrown into the middle of it. Calvin was loyal to both, but that middle ground is where things started to get messy.
Another thing I want to touch on is the Floyd situation. You know, Floyd is Floyd. That's like I say, Tank is Tank, man. But at the end of the day, you know, the man is chasing greatness. And you should be supporting that. I always tell you that. You should be supporting that, you know. It's a rocky road that we see what's going on. Just pay attention, man. The story is going to reveal itself, you know. But again, that's how you burn bridges. Somebody said they say the true colors of a person is coming out, man. 'Cause they can't stand it, you know. Calm is I don't like using that word calm, you know, but our Lord knows. He knows. He knows. He knows.
If you thought Calvin and Tank's drama was intense, let's talk about Gervonta's history with Floyd Mayweather. It's no secret that Gervonta was once considered Floyd's golden child, a protege groomed to follow in Money Mayweather's footsteps. Floyd took Gervonta under his wing early in his career, offering him the platform of Mayweather Promotions to showcase his skills. He hyped him up at press conferences, called him the future of boxing, and gave Tank the kind of exposure most fighters could only dream of. But with great mentorship came great expectations. Floyd is known for being hands-on and, let's be honest, controlling. Gervonta wasn't just expected to win. He was expected to live up to Floyd's legacy, both in and out of the ring. As Gervonta's career skyrocketed, the cracks in their relationship began to show. Floyd was often accused of hogging the spotlight, even during Tank's events. Fans noticed how Floyd would talk about himself in interviews meant to promote Gervonta.
You know, he the one told Frank that I was running at 7 o'clock in the morning, Friday. He told Frank that. He was giving Frank tips and stuff like that. But I knew for sure that wasn't going to be enough to beat me. It's cool. It's all right. You know? I don't really think too much of it. He's not going to hurt me. You know what I mean? So it's good to beef with him than be cool with him, because he can do some crazy stuff. He'll put you in bad situations.
Things got worse when Gervonta started speaking out about feeling like a pawn in Floyd's empire. In one heated moment, Tank tweeted, "I gotta do what's best for me." The breaking point? When Gervonta decided to go independent. In 2022, he publicly distanced himself from Mayweather Promotions. While both parties tried to play it cool in the media, insiders say the split was anything but amicable. Floyd reportedly felt betrayed after everything he'd done to build Tank's career. Meanwhile, Gervonta felt suffocated by Floyd's micromanagement. After the split, Gervonta hinted that he wanted to carve out his own identity, separate from Floyd. He even took subtle jabs at Mayweather, saying he didn't want to be part of a system that only benefited the promoter. Sound familiar? Yep, the tension between Gervonta and Floyd mirrors what's happening now with Calvin Ford. All right, this is where the plot thickens. Just as Tank was gearing up for his latest fight, word got out that Floyd was training his next opponent, Lamont Roach. That's right, Floyd was out here, backing the guy Tank was about to step into the ring with. Imagine how that must have felt for Tank. You've got Floyd, your former promoter, and a guy who was supposed to be in your corner, now literally backing your opponent.
And Gervonta Tank Davis just been released to the public. We know now, December 14th, Houston, Texas, he's gonna be facing a very tough opponent in Lamont Roach. Can you tell us a little bit about the history between them two?
Oh man, they've been knowing each other from the amateurs, silver gloves, everything. They grew up actually together, you know. Roach and him back and forth battles and whatnot. It's gonna be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight. I mean, I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about, why Roach? Because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
And Calvin, well, he stayed neutral. He didn't really stand up for Tank in this Floyd Roach situation. It's almost like Calvin tried to stay as far away from the drama as possible. But Tank saw it as something else. Maybe Tank felt that Calvin's silence was a kind of betrayal, like he should have been defending him and not playing both sides. This whole situation with Roach, it wasn't just another fight for Tank, it became a matter of respect. With Floyd throwing shade and Calvin staying quiet, it probably felt to Tank like he was fighting this battle on his own. So, with all this drama bubbling up, Tank decided to make a move, and that's where Derrick James comes in. And get this, Derrick James has a history with Tank. James actually trained Frank Martin, Tank's recent opponent. Yeah, this is where things get wild. Derrick James has been studying Tank for a while now. He knows how he fights. But instead of trying to figure out ways to stop Tank, he's now been called upon to train him for his next fight.
Y'all gotta watch these guys,
right,
man.
He's a good fighter, yeah.
He was a Golden Gloves champ from Indianapolis, right?
That's right. National Golden Glove champ, yeah.
Yeah, man, and he's got some skills, dog. Like I was like, that's a good one to add to the squad. If you're gonna add one.
How old is he?
I think he's like 26.
Okay.
So he's still young.
Yes, young.
Yeah. Still, and listen, this thing about it, he's still getting better. He's still, because this is our third fight together. So you gotta understand that, like, once he gets everything I'm telling him, once the growth process, he's gonna be amazing. And listen, he may be fighting for a world championship pretty soon. So
I was gonna say, I wouldn't mind watching him and Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, the same way, yeah.
Yeah, like
they sparred before the same weight, same weight.
Oh, they have sparred before?
They sparred before, yeah.
How'd that go?
I don't know how I went.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
What you think about Gervonta Davis?
I like him. I like him as an individual, man. I like him. I mean, I know him, you know, and I like him. I think it'll be a good fight. I think that Frank matches up pretty well.
Yeah.
But most of the guys that Gervonta, I think, will be probably the toughest one.
James switching sides to train Tank now. It's almost like the ultimate "I'm my own boss" statement. Tank probably saw James as someone who understands his fighting style and isn't caught up in all that Mayweather-Calvin drama. But more than that, it's like Tank wanted a fresh start. Someone who wasn't tangled up in history. Someone who could bring a new perspective. Now, we can't talk about this without bringing Leonard Ellerbay into the mix. Leonard's been in Tank's corner for a minute, handling the business side, managing negotiations, and hyping up Tank's fights. He was also close to Floyd, so he understood all the background drama. Leonard was the glue keeping everyone on the same page, at least for a while.
Lomachenko next. Do you see that kind of a fight happening for Tank?
All these guys who you guys say are the top guys out there, Tank gonna get every one of these guys. He just can't fight them all in one night.
But as things with Floyd and Calvin got rocky, Leonard's position shifted too. Some say Leonard tried to keep things smooth between Tank and Floyd, but when that didn't work, it seemed like he took a step back. He couldn't keep the peace forever. When Tank realized that even Ellerbay wasn't helping him maintain control, that might have been the last straw.
Gotcha. Yeah. I was just about to ask, like you said, contracts don't define relationships. How's the relationship with you and Tank, with Floyd and Tank, and let's go along.
Great.
Yeah.
Now Tank has released a statement following his bold move of replacing coaches months out from his fight with Roach. Now you can't miss out on, Davis said. So let's get to it. In a recent interview, Gervonta Davis broke his silence on a series of explosive events surrounding his split from longtime coach Calvin Ford and his new partnership with trainer Derek James. Tank made it clear that his decision wasn't just about changing coaches. It was a pivotal moment in his boxing career and personal growth. He acknowledged the invaluable lessons he learned from Ford, who played a crucial role in his rise to fame. However, Davis also emphasized that he needed a fresh perspective and a new approach to take his game to the next level. Calvin helped me build my foundation, but I realized I needed someone who could push me harder and challenge me in ways I hadn't experienced before, Tank explained. Derek brings a different vibe to the gym, one that I'm excited about. I want to be the best, and sometimes that means stepping out of your comfort zone. But there's more to this story, and it took a while for Tank to finally open up, but when he did, he didn't hold back one bit. According to Tank, the dynamics between Gervonta Davis and his longtime coach, Calvin Ford, took a sharp turn when Ford announced he would be training Floyd Mayweather for an upcoming exhibition match. Davis was blindsided by the news, especially considering the heated rivalry that had been brewing between him and Floyd. He expressed his frustration, stating, "How could Calvin decide to help Floyd after everything that's happened? It felt like he was picking sides." For Tank, it wasn't just about Ford's choice, it symbolized a deeper issue of loyalty. He believed that Ford should have supported him instead of teaming with someone who's had it out for him. This betrayal fueled Davis's growing resentment toward both Ford and Mayweather. "Floyd has been trying to undermine me for a while now," Tank added, "and to see Calvin training him? That crossed a line." It was clear that the situation intensified the already strained relationship between Tank and Floyd, pushing Davis to reevaluate who he could trust in his corner. Davis felt a mix of anger and disappointment. "I've been through so much with Calvin, and now it feels like he's turning his back on me," he said. "It's hard to focus on my career when I'm dealing with that kind of betrayal." This tension ultimately influenced Davis's decision to seek a new direction for his training, paving the way for his partnership with Derek James. So, what's the deal? Why does Gervonta keep clashing with the people who helped him rise to the top? One theory is that as Gervonta's star power grows, so does his desire for control. He's no longer the young, hungry kid from Baltimore. He's a global superstar who wants to call his own shots.
What set you off that you was like, I gotta do that?
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like, oh, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause I feel like y'all got, I would say love hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, you know, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him. And I'm doing it at a young age. Wait, like when Floyd was 29, you'll see, bro.
Yeah.
That deal that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's a part of
this deal. He don't know about that yet. But that's bigger than his deal.
Damn. Wow.
And I'm just releasing
it. It's exclusive. That's exclusive. Bigger than Floyd deal?
Yeah.
Tank, don't cap, nigga. That's a lot of bread.
You'll see. It's gonna come out.
But with that independence comes friction. Mentors like Calvin and Floyd see themselves as vital pieces of Gervonta's puzzle. When Tank starts pulling away, they feel unappreciated, and that's when the drama begins. Another factor? Gervonta's volatile personality. Let's be real. Tank has a reputation for being fiery both in and out of the ring. That passion makes him a beast in boxing, but it also makes him hard to work with. As for what's next, Gervonta has been tight-lipped about his plans. He's hinted at working with Derek, but no one has been confirmed as his full-time replacement for Ford. Meanwhile, Calvin Ford has made it clear he's stepping back to focus on his other fighters and personal life. But he also left the door slightly open, saying, "I'll always care about Gervonta. I just hope he finds what he's looking for." As for Floyd, don't hold your breath for a reunion. Their relationship seems to be permanently fractured, with both men moving on to focus on their own empires. The only time you might see these two together is when they go toe-to-toe in the ring. But what do you think? Will Gervonta patch things up with Calvin or Floyd? Or is this the end of the road for those iconic partnerships? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more boxing drama